Welcome back to the Untapped Podcast. One of the most common questions that Delaney and I actually get, or often get, one is often actually about how we work together, and that's a whole other episode, but another is how do we organize, how do we plan our week, how do we plan our days, how do we structure things? And so I wanted to just come on and do an episode about a new tool that I've been using this year specifically that has absolutely changed the game for me. So for years, I love productivity stuff, habit hacking, all of that, and in reality, it's still really important, really impactful. However, in my evolution of myself and my journey, I've also started to unfold a lot around the nervous system and, the real inner work, the emotional regulation, which has made some of the most profound difference. However, habits are still fundamentally important. And this isn't necessarily about habits per se. Well, it is, but it's more about the structure. So how I'm actually structuring my time and my weeks that has been truly transformational for me. So stay tuned to have a paradigm flipping discovery, right, about how you might be able to reduce the overwhelm, increase your output, and not only about becoming more productive and achieving more, that will happen, but also just enjoy your days more as an entrepreneur, because I know there are so many demands, there are so many people that you're talking to, things you need to think about and manage, especially if you don't have a big team yet. It's like, do this, reply to this, do the marketing and the sales and the thing, and then the tech broke, and I get it. I fully get it. And then also be an amazing partner and a wife and a mum and whatever else you are, and I understand the pressures. So something that's changed the game is how I've been structuring my kind of week and working week. So I shared this with some private clients the other week, and they were like, damn, this is gold, because they were starting to feel super reactive. And the thing is, with technology and social media and everything, we've only amplified that experience because we're always available and we're always on, and our brains are actually changing and we're starting to lose focus. And that's producing, we're actually producing chemical hormonal stress by reacting to our phones and being on Slack and online all the time. So this has increased, and so we need to take back the power. So it's important to create the context first. I did years and years of self-work and inner work to create deep and consistent self-care routines. So I'm not necessarily talking about my exercise routine or my alkalizing drinks or smoothies or water or anything. Those are things that I assume are all in place. I'm talking about the habit that then changed how I was working every day. Right? So it's really important that I just want to note that, because the first thing I schedule beyond all my work, the first thing I actually schedule is all of my self-care, right? So my morning, my first hour, I usually get up around 6 o'clock. My first hour is for me. I do my meditation practice, my visioning, my journaling. And, then I always go to my exercise, and I exercise in the morning. It's just easier for me. And I always have my classes booked in, because if I don't, I won't go. And then that's my first couple of hours that are for me. And at the end of the day, I often, go to the spa or relax or read a book or do something for me and do my evening meditation. So I have the start and the end of my day really, really consistent. And I have a lot of tools that I'd use in those times. But then the thing, now you're probably like, oh my gosh, just tell me the freaking thing. Okay, here's the freaking thing. So instead of thinking about every single day, doing every single thing, think about your week in themed days. And you know what? I actually have no idea where I got this concept from. I know my friend the other day when I was talking to her about it, she was like, oh, I also learned that, and I'm doing that from this guy. And I was like, oh, I don't know him. So it wasn't that. Anyway, I don't know where it came from, but think about it in terms of themed days. So you want to think about, for example, on a Monday, I have my leadership and team day. So on a Monday, I'll meet with Delaney, I'll talk with the team, I'll get everyone set up, I'll brief anything, delegate anything, really make sure the team is set up for the week and do those calls. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, those are my call days or my delivery days. Now, those are chunky. Those are like very full days. They're a lot of energy. They're a lot of presence. It's a lot of service and a lot of giving. So on those 2 days, the bookends of self-care are essential, and even a little lunchtime kind of input as well. So always do my morning routine and often go to the spa or have a massage or do something in the evening of those days, because I've just been giving so much. And then I have a little lunchtime, make sure I've got food prep done, and have a little midi lunchtime break. Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I've changed my calendar. And you also need to make sure this is super boundaried, right? You need to tell your team, like, these are the days I do calls on, don't book me on other days. Change your Calendly settings or whatever scheduling booking session you use to actually be like, you can only book on these days. You have to get really boundaried about it. Otherwise, people will be like, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? Oh, yeah, okay. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, like I said, they're big energy days, but this was transformational for me because calls and delivery for me, that's a huge part of what I do. And obviously you have to think about what you do in your career, but that's a lot of energy. And what I was finding is that having one sales call on a random Wednesday or a catch-up call or a collaboration call on a Monday, it was really sporadic and disjointed. And when I reflected on my energy, I felt like it was requiring so much for me to get present and then download the recording and then do all the thing and kind of just get grounded. It would also mean in terms of a physical space, right? I have an office where I work, but it would mean that I had to be in a certain place, quiet cafe or whatever. So then it was limiting my creativity of where I could work from. So the call days were an absolute game changer. So Tuesday and Thursday are delivery call days, so coaching calls, one-to-one client calls, not team stuff, because I said I'd do that on Monday, and sales calls. And it may be any partnership, collaborations, whatever, right? This is work-related Zoom calls. And so you get your set up for the day, you get all your water, all your greens, your smoothies, everything, your oils, your candle, and you're just there for the day. And you get fully set up. So whether you work in a co-working space or you have an office or you're at home, you just get fully set up for the day, and that's awesome. And then for me personally, then my Wednesday is actually my creative and my like other projects day. So for example, that might be, and I know I went to the spa with my friend the other day and she was like, oh, that's my funnel day. So that's the day she's doing her emails and her funnel stuff and looking at her ads and her data. And so for me, my Wednesday is like my creative day. So that might be content creation, right? Podcast recording, email sequencing or writing my book, whatever it is, or maybe another project that I'm working on that's also not necessarily my direct business. But Wednesday for me is more of a kind of creative content day and just giving myself that space. And so I don't really have any input. I don't have any client delivery stuff. I don't have to talk to the team. That's a fully available day, right? For deep work, what I would call. And all of this concept is rooted in like Carl Newport's concept of deep work, which is that every single time you change task, you lose 8 minutes. And I'm sure that science has even changed since then. But you lose 8 minutes changing tasks. So you're writing this email and then you change 8 minutes, right? Creating a reel, posting on there, 8 minutes. Getting on a sales call, then getting off and then doing something else, another 8 minutes. So you're losing a lot of time just by context changing all the time. Your brain's struggling to get into that coherent flow. So Wednesday's my creative day. And then my Friday's actually, again, pretty wide open. But Friday, I've actually left for networking. So on Friday, I might go to a networking group or have a brunch with someone that I've been wanting to connect with, have our clients over, host a co-working thing at our office. Like Friday is really, for me, my social business connecting day, let's say, right? Maybe there's someone who messaged you like, let's have a coffee, whatever. That's my Friday. And again, this was a game changer for me because something I was doing a lot of that during the week. Now, my most prime time is my mornings. And then, so that's when I do all my client calls anytime before 2, really. And my prime time is also earlier in the week often, right? By Thursday or Friday, I'm not checked out, but I'm like, okay, it's been a big week. So what I was finding with the social stuff is that when I was doing it on Monday morning or Tuesday morning, or I didn't have any boundaries or any theme days, I was really scattered. And it was like suddenly I was like running to the cafe and going there for lunch and then stacking too many catch-ups on that day and meaning to do the other work. And it was just kind of all over the show. So that became really powerful to just know that anytime someone wants to catch up, whatever, it's a Friday. And for me, that was really helpful because I can be a bit of a now person. Like someone's like, oh, do you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, let's do it tomorrow. And so actually starting and learning to have more space in my calendar, like, hey, well, next Friday's full, maybe the Friday after, was great. Same for calls and sales calls, putting these boundaries that like, I'm not doing them every day of the week. It's like they're Tuesdays and Thursdays or catch ups on Friday. So these were all game changer things for me to really create more consistency, more cohesion, more synchronization in my schedule, more space for me, more peace, more presence, more just like, this is what I'm up to today and that's all that's required of me. And knowing when I would get to things and being able to be really clear with people about that, like, hey, I'll do those emails on Wednesday or I'll record that content on Wednesday. So I think the themed days of the week, well, I don't think I know. It's been absolutely life-changing for me as someone who was trying to do everything in one day, basically. So I really challenge you, it's a bit of a paradigm shift and you have to get out of all your reasons and excuses. Like you're going to have a million reasons why you can't do this. It'll be like, oh, I don't know, I need to do sales call. It need to be available every day, or my clients need this reviewed every day. And that's like, I think when I was talking to someone about this, they're like, oh, well, I need to review my student stuff every day. Look, you can take 5 minutes each morning to clear your Slack, let's say. But in terms of, for example, doing document reviews for our students, we just do them once a week. It's not within 24 hours. It's just, hey, that everything will be done. You need to submit it by Monday, and we do them all on Monday afternoon. And then they're done by Tuesday, right? Delivery day. And then we get on the call. So really you need to challenge your timelines, how available you always are, and the lack of maybe boundaries and structure. And that something that was huge for me and has been a massive learning is actually, that I didn't have many boundaries in place and that I struggled to even know. And yeah, really thinking about how you want to optimize for yourself. And I'm not saying this is the perfect system, but for me, it's been one of the best systems I've ever found. Being an entrepreneur for almost 7 years now, I'm like, this works so much better than any other thing I did, because I'd done all the like eat the frog in the morning for the first 3 hours and do your deep work and then do this and then I wouldn't have calls before 12. And then, I'd done all these like kind of almost daily structures, but thinking of it in a week, just expanded my timeline horizons and gave me so much more peace and space. And it's also been a lot easier for the team to be able to manage, because they know like, oh, Briony will be able to record that on that day. Or, I can book a call with her on Thursdays, and the team your team or whoever you're working with, your customers, your team, whoever you're in relationships with, can really know how to engage with you and how to get the best out of you as well. So I hope this tool is super helpful. If you have any questions, you can just message us on the Instagram. But yeah, I know it's been an absolute game changer for me doing these days. And fill them with whatever you want, right? How do you decide what your days are? Well, think about your biggest priorities. If you're running a team, then you need to have time for your team. If you need to be doing more sales, then have a sales day. If you're in a customer delivery or customer centric or, service based, then obviously you have to do customer delivery stuff. If you're trying to work on a personal creative project, songwriting, book writing, whatever it is, allocate that time. So think about, when you're thinking about theming your days, just think about what's actually important to you, and then build your days around those, right? And then also think about your energy levels when you have the best energy, and again, build your days around those. Because I know for me, like Mondays are great. I have a lot of energy on a Monday. I'm very good at resting in the weekend. And so Mondays are awesome for sales, right? Or team things, getting people inspired, getting vision clear. So really think about, maybe you're more creative on a Friday. Perfect. Change your schedule around for that. And yeah, be willing to have a few conversations. You're going to need to tell some people that you're not available at those times, and you're going to need to reschedule some calls, and you're going to need to turn off Slack or whatever else you have on your phone, and be disciplined about honoring your days. And here's my last tip. You may slip up. If you're really learning how to establish these boundaries, you may slip up and sneak someone in on a coffee on a Tuesday when it should have been a Friday. And that's okay, because until you build congruency for yourself that this is a better way of operating, then your old familiar past self is going to keep doing little things like that, right? You can call it self-sabotage or whatever you want, and that's okay. So when I was doing that, I did do a few sales calls on an evening or whatever, and then be like, that didn't feel very good. right? I remember, I think it was a Wednesday night or something, not my call day. I did a sales call and I did it from home because I wasn't all set up. And I got off the call and I said to Dee, I was like, I don't think it was very good. I wasn't very grounded. I wasn't very tapped in because I was in such a different headspace from the work I'd been doing. And I hadn't transitioned out quick enough. And so once I did that, I got my own lesson there's the reason why I created this system and why the system actually works. So you may have a few times where you do those things and you just have to catch yourself and bring awareness why did I do that? And what am I really committed to? And the more that you can tell people and share with people, i.e. your team or your customers, that this is what you're doing, then the better, because that's going to create accountability and consistency and bring it into life for you. And obviously you can put it in your calendar. So I hope you have fun with this new structure. I wish I heard about this concept earlier, and I don't even know where I heard about it, so I can't even credit it. But it's been awesome creating it, and it's something I put in from this year. And that's after many failed attempts at calendar time management. So I hope this one works for you too and you enjoy it. And if not, let's throw it out the window and try another one, because it's about, it's got to work for you as well. But this has been absolutely life-changing for me. So enjoy the productive, expansive, focused, enjoyable week.